wasn't a let up to that. There wasn't any overreactions to certain possessions. And then, we played at a pretty slow pace there in the second half, but didn't allow them to get out and really have enough possessions to get back into the game, which also was important. And I think our guys did a good job of not just building the lead, but besides that run they made in the second quarter, they maintained that cushion throughout the game, and that's really hard to do against anyone, particularly against this team and particularly in this building.
Specifically on offense, all of the threes that you made, was there a common thread to why you were getting such good and clean looks as to what you wanted to execute offensively?
They played a bunch of different coverages. They played some drop. They played some reds. They played some blitzes. I just thought our ability to recognize, other than one possession, that first possession when they blitzed towards the end of the second quarter, I thought our ability to recognize those coverages was really good. Luka, again, his just ability to make threes. We got I don't know the exact total, but Max will have it on the post-game report. We got some great uncontested corner threes. We missed some uncontested corner threes. I just thought the movement, the spacing, and the intent was great all night.
JJ, kind of two different questions. You mentioned a little bit kind of valuing possessions. It felt like there was one early in the game when they may have gotten 2 or 3 cracks and Caruso hit a 3, but otherwise, it seemed like you guys were the team that was creating extra advantages in that. How pleased were you with your team's response when it came to 50-50 balls, offensive crashing, and different things like that?
Yeah. They ended up with 9 offensive rebounds, and 4 of those came from Dylan Jones in the fourth quarter. So I think overall we did a really good job on the glass. I'd have to get the exact stats, but I know several of our turnovers were dead ball turnovers versus live ball turnovers. So we were able to set our defense. This is going to sound silly. We also had some really timely fouls. Where we weren't in the bonus and maybe they had an advantage, or maybe we had a man down or a man in the trail position. We were able to foul and stop the possession, and then they took it out on the side. So I just think all that stuff contributed to us just not allowing them to get in any sort of rhythm offensively.
And then you've been around Luka now as his coach for a couple months. What do you see from him when it comes to creativity and sort of performance when the test gets bigger, the challenges get harder? It seemed like there was maybe even another level unlocked. The pass he had to Gabe in the corner, a couple of the spin moves and scoop shots, stuff we haven't necessarily seen.
Yeah. I think he relishes the challenge. You're going to get the best defender every night. You're going to get all the different coverages every night when you're him. And similar to LeBron, similar to Jokic, similar to Shea. These guys have seen every test, and they've figured out the way to pass each test. And a lot of times they not only pass the test, they ace the test. Sometimes great players can get bored with that process. And so when you get the fully engaged star in a big time game, some special things can happen, and Luka did some special things tonight. We were running a smash, and it was not the first option, but just the way they covered it. Very clear that Gabe was open, and I was like, hit the smash. And he dribbled into the paint and then threw it behind his head. And St. Gina was like, oh, he sees it. You don't need to tell him.
Maybe Russell Westbrook. So I'm bringing that up.
MVP?
Yes.
Steph. 2016, right?
Right, but we're going back.
Yeah, going back.
Pre-pandemic. and I'm bringing it up because I do believe statistically the way the game is played now, it is tilted more towards front court players because of you're getting more access to rebounds, block shots, and other stats that perimeter players aren't as mixed in on. Shea's not going to average 15 rebounds a game as a guard. And so that it highlights how great Jokic has been, deserving of MVPs that he's won. Embiid, Giannis, not questioning those guys at all. But I do believe it's time to recognize Shai's impact, not just statistically individually, but leading his team to winning at the highest level that you can lead in the NBA.
Steph, Russ, Harden, the last 3 guards. Before then, it moved on. Yeah, wow. It's a great point there. Obviously, the Lakers will be tested with SGA, as Brez just mentioned, too. He doesn't just do it offensively, but top 5 in steals as well, both ends of the floor, which gets us to this one. His partner in crime, Jalen Williams, coming to him into his own as well, guys. He's one of 5 guys, along with SGA and Luka Doncic, to average 25 and 5. How difficult, Fish, I'll come back to you, of an assignment is Jalen?
He's more difficult than it appears. I mean, when you're on the floor with the MVP, you don't look as good because you're on the floor with arguably the best player in the league. And so he doesn't always stand out as much. But then when you look at the stat sheet by the end of the night, he's quietly put together 20, 25 points, 6 rebounds, couple blocks. He's stronger than his height would suggest, like he plays much bigger than his actual listed height. And he's a dog in terms of defense, rebounding, competitive spirit. So he is a great, I don't want to say Robin next to Batman, but he's a great, like, second-level player that OKC benefits from, even though SGA is the only guy that typically makes the news. But I do believe people within the world of basketball recognize Jalen Williams' ascension and he's on his way to greatness, being an all-star year in and year out.
You mentioned defense with him, big game, yeah, along with those career highs of 21, 5, and 5 for him this season, and just under 2 steals as well, both ends.
Yeah, I think Fish said it. You know, he is a dog. You know, this is what I see. You know, Finney Smith for us. You know, without all the points, I'd like to see him become that as well, because they have that similar complex. But yeah, you know, there's always that other guy. You know, a different time, different era. But I remember when Magic Johnson won Rookie of the Year, 42, 15. Jamal Wilkes dropped 38 that night and had about, you know, he had a really good game. So there's always that guy that, you know, that you can't handle. You focus on the main guy, but there's this other guy, you know, that just tears you apart. When I think of guys like, you know, in Denver, Jokic, but then, you know, there's Gordon, that always that baseline. There's Murray. There's always somebody else. And Jalen Williams has proven to be on both ends that he's a monster.
I wonder how many times Jalen tells SGA, thank you. Thank you for being you so I can be me and be this great.
Yeah,
All the
hopefully
time.
often.
Lakers and Thunder, they're...
Xin chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Ngày hôm nay mình sẽ tiếp tục hướng dẫn các bạn làm vòng. Hôm nay vòng của mình sẽ có tiêu đề là cây cau. Mọi người, hôm nay vòng của mình có tiêu đề quả cau.
Đi em chị đi lên đỡ phải đi, sau em đỡ phải tạo tài khoản MB. Giờ mà tạo tài khoản MB này phải lên tận Đông Anh hay là lên tận huyện để tạo. Chị rõ.
Cho chị lấy hạn đêm với lại 19. Mỗi chị em 100.000.
Thế mình tạo thôi.
Chị đã không làm đâu. Ai chị đã tạo đâu, họ chị vội mà.